What's poppin', YouTube?
What up, YouTube?
Me and Luke, we back. We
We are back. Been a while, but we're back.
We got him another part for his bread truck. He still got that truck, man. We got him another part. He finally got something I've been telling him about for a long, long time.
Y'all get to see us unbox it right here, right now.
And we also going to install it right here, right now. So stick around. We're going to show you what to do. All right. So Luke finally got himself a cold air intake kit for his 5.3 Vortec GM motor. All of the cold air intake kits for 5.3, 6.0, 6.2, 4.8, they're all pretty much the same thing. Nothing you're missing out on there. But anyway, we're gonna get right into this. We're about to start unboxing it for you guys, show you what you get in this package. I'm not sure what brand he got, but we'll go over that in a second.
All right, Drew. All right. First things first, got your muffler. Nope. Everybody knows what that is.
It's the intake pipe.
Yep, intake pipe. Then you have filter itself.
Air filter,
Yep.
couplings,
Yep, couplings, all the goodies up in there.
clamps.
Then you have that for the heat shield that wraps around it once we get that installed and bolted down.
You have your metal brace that's going to go around it. Forms kind of like a box, but it's going to be open for the cold air intake to sit on.
This goes around, it bolts together somehow.
Yeah, it's simple. What brand is it?
I would have to look probably on the website because I don't think it says it on the paper.
Okay.
All right, we're heading over here to grab the tools real quick.
Get us some tools at the service shop.
Really don't need much to do this job with.
We'll take
It's
this,
like an 8 and 10 millimeter socket,
we'll take this
ratchet and
right
wrench,
here.
and Phillips head and flathead screwdriver. That's
Should
probably
be just
about
about everything we need right here. We can grab a screwdriver or two just to be safe.
it. Yes, sir.
Flathead screwdriver. What else have we need?
Phillips. You already got the sockets and the wrench. So, all right. So this is the before. This is standard old poo-poo right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off. This is the before, and we'll get to it.
So right now, just for safety, there shouldn't be anything happen at all. But just to be safe, we're disconnecting the negative terminal on the battery. That way we have no juice over there on anything. Shouldn't have any juice anyway. But just for safety reasons, we're going to go ahead and pull that off. So now that that's out the way, we can go ahead and start pulling off the intake. I like to start right here. Probably the easiest one to get to is right here in the front, right there on the throttle body. So we're going to pull this clamp, loosen it. You can do an 8 millimeter socket, or you can do it with a flathead screwdriver, your choice. Once this is loose, work that all the way around. All right, now come over here, pull this one loose. It's all very, very simple stuff. These intake kits are, man, they're a cakewalk. They're gravy. So once we get that one all loosened up, now we can pull this off of here. Now we've disconnected both sides. As you can see here, very restricted. All these little pieces right here are called baffles, and they help quiet down the motor some. That way you don't hear the intake at all, and it just quiets it down. But we don't want any of that. For fuel mileage and horsepower, everything else, longevity, we want a cold air intake. That way it breathes a lot better. So we'll go ahead and unplug the mass airflow sensor.
Tight fit.
Yeah, she's tight. Spin on here. How many miles you got on this truck?
Huh?
How many miles you got on this?
About 200,000.
Oh, 200,000 miles of this being plugged in. I assume it's probably never been unplugged before.
Yeah, it's probably never been unplugged.
There it is. As you can see. Right. These right here usually just pop out.
Yeah, it should pull right out of there.
There it is. I didn't say it was going to be easy. Now we got this factory top of the air box off, the mass airflow sensor piece right here. We're going to set this down nice and easy. Check out the air filter.
This thing is old.
Very clogged, very dirty. That's not what you want at all when it comes to longevity and fuel mileage. That, we're going to jump. Now we can go ahead and pull the rest of the stuff out.
Right here at the bottom. Looks like a little...
This little clip right here.
Yep.
It'll pop right out. Once we... There it is. Okay.
There it is. Definitely an old one.
Very good.
And you just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holding. Alright. So we got the mountain tray up out of there. Now we are assembling the heat shield. It's a 2-piece held together by 3 screws.
Screws and nuts.
Screws and nuts. Putting that together real quick, and then we'll get that installed down there where the mountain thing was.
So we got the 2 plates put together for this little heat shield thing. Simple. Line up the bolt holes, that one and all these 3 right here, these 2 over here, and then once those are all lined up, you put the bolts back in from your factory plate. You need to remove that plate and use the factory bolts from that plate, use the factory holes from that plate to install this new heat shield on here, and then your filter will sit right up in this.
Alright, we got her all bolted in. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the rubber trim. Alright, so now we're applying the rubber trim that goes around right here. Just wraps around, don't take but 2 seconds to put on. A little longer than 2 seconds because it is tough, but we'll wrap it around and we'll get on with it. Alright, now that he's got the right screwdriver. This part here calls for a flathead, so we're taking off the sensor. Go ahead and pull that off slowly.
Now you see a lot of the tools that I am using, you don't necessarily have to have these exact tools. Of course I have them because I do this for a living, and so it's kind of like important for me to have these kind of tools with me. But like I said, you don't have to have these exact tools for you to do it at home. You can go to your local auto parts store and get a flathead screwdriver and 8mm socket and 10mm socket and a ratchet and a Phillips head screwdriver and be good to go. So right now we're going to connect this piece to your mass airflow sensor. If I can get it in there. There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Just tighten your clamp.
Then we're just going to tighten the clamp back up. So now this piece right here will actually go into this air filter itself. So I can get it fit up in here. It's been in a box. So
Yeah, you got to kind of...
there it is.
You forgot to put the clamp on.
I'll slide the clamp over on this side.
Okay.
This one, of course, uses the biggest clamp out of the bunch.
Yeah, just put that around there and clamp her down.
That's a big clamp.
Yeah.
It's a Phillips in it too.
Phillips. All right, well, the big clamp calls for a Phillip, so don't even try to get flat.
So what we have here, we're going to go ahead and put this coupling on the other side of the mass airflow sensor. Now we got the air filter on it. We're going to put this coupling on here. That way it connects to your intake pipe. And then that intake pipe will connect to this elbow right here, which connects to your throttle body on the intake manifold. Very simple process. Like I've said a million times.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. This is all a cakewalk, gravy. As long as you're mechanically inclined of some sort, this is all nothing to you. So now we're gonna mount this right quick. Let's just make sure this is all gonna mount how we want it to. All right, that feels nice and good and snug on there. That ought to work perfect. So now, I'm just gonna set this all up in here, make sure everything's gonna fit how we want it to fit, you know. So let's go ahead and go this way with it.
I got the
Yeah.
All Alright, so we got that piece on right there. About to run our pipe underneath this and over that. Get that clamped down and check back in.
All right, so we got the air filter in here. Oh, we gotta push this thing back down. Anyway, so the air filter's in, connected there. We got the mass airflow sensor plugged in. Everything's pretty much mounted up how you want it to mount, right there all the way to the throttle body, just like how we want it. Looking good, looking good. Now we're about to go ahead and give her our first crank. Go ahead. All right, now that we got the battery terminal back on, we're good to crank it up. All right, guys, so there it is. We got the intake on. Me and Luke about to go take a little drive, see if we can tell any kind of major differences or not. Most of the time, you really can't tell much of a difference, but it does add a little bit of horsepower and gives you more fuel mileage and longevity. So, thank you guys for watching.
Right,
stay tuned for the bloopers.
And we're not. All right, well, no first crank yet.
Before you start it up, make sure to remember to reconnect your battery terminal that you disconnected early in the video.
What brand are we repping? What brand are we repping?
Snap-on.
Snap-on. All day. Go ahead and sponsor him.
And Matco too, I guess.
Yep. All right, let's head back over there.